All right, next we're going to talk about response validation and descriptions. And I've generated a couple questions here. But when you're in a question like, where did you grow up? Some kids might write a whole lot or maybe not enough. And depending on how many kids you have, that might be a good thing or a bad thing, whatever the case may be. What you can do, though, is if you come into your question at the bottom right here, you'll see these three dots. When you click on them, you'll see response validation. Response validation will allow you to kind of control the responses that, let's say, students in this case can input. So here I have two options. I have regular expression or length. Regular expression, this is more for like if you wanted to do a Google Forms breakout box or something like that. But typically people will stay with this length piece. And you can do either a maximum character count or a minimum character count. So I could say, you know what, the maximum character count is, let's say 200 characters, okay? If I go out to the Google form and I start typing, right now I could hit submit, but let me get over 200 characters. Right. And now it gives me this warning that, whoa, I'm over 200 characters. All right, so the student's going to have to back up a little bit and then they can hit submit. I would recommend if you're going to put character counts on questions, just tell people that you're going to do that. So come back to the three dots here and go to description. And in the description, this is like the little text that shows up beneath the question. Just put max character count equals 200, or whatever the case may be, just so that they know, like, oh, there's a limit to this and I shouldn't be writing a book. Okay, so now you can see how that shows up. Some other types of response validation are, now that was on a paragraph style question. This is short answer, so very similar, but in short answer, we get some different options here. I'm going to go to response validation and you'll see the option to do, like, this question is, what's your favorite website? I can force this to be a number of some sort, which wouldn't make sense for this question, but you can have someone input a number. It could be text, contains a URL, an email address, all right, and that's what actually we're going to use. We're going to select URL. You do have other options then for length, as just like before, and regular expression. So now if I pick URL, jump out to the form. What's your favorite website? If I try to type scmath, all right, I'm going to get an error. If I try to do scmath.org, I still get an error. So you got to make sure you throw in the whole piece there, all right? And then you could hit submit. So typically if you just copy and paste the URL, it will work. You won't have to type it out like that. This is a checkbox question. And in the checkbox question, you do have the option to shuffle the order. So this option does exist for checkboxes, but also for questions like this. We'll talk about that one in a little bit. But let's go to response validation here. All right. You can force them to say, hey, you know what, you have to pick two, or at most two, or at least two. So you can limit their options or how many they have to pick for that. And then the last one here is, this is multiple choice. And with multiple choice, you do get the option to shuffle the order of these. And I like that because what I always do is I always put the correct answer first. It just makes it easier for me. I always put the correct answer first, and then I just rely on Google to shuffle those. So let's shuffle them and see what this looks like. So we had 8, 6, 10. Here they are, 8, 6, 10. Let's refresh this. And now they're 6, 10, 8. All right, which is nice. The other option here was to go to section based on answer. This only really works if you have multiple sections built out in your Google form. And when you do, you can say, hey, if someone picks number 8, have them go to this section. If they have number 6, have them go to a different section. All right.